Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Kane, thank you for the video. Stealth Systems UK is up and running. I've decided I'm going to change the channel slightly though. Instead of just doing PC builds, I'm going to be doing tutorials, as we have here today on Cinema 4D. I'm going to be doing computer builds. That's where you guys order. I build it on camera and show you like, all the parts and you know why these parts are good for the build. And yeah, hopefully everyone enjoys this channel. Hopefully going to bring you guys some tips. That's what Stealth Systems UK is all about your PC, and you know how you can improve things, and maybe you might want to build, and obviously I can do that for you. But today we have a tutorial in Cinema 4D on how to create 3D text. Now, I've only had Cinema 4D for a few days, and I've watched some tutorials, and they were really quick, and I didn't think that they broke it down enough for the average person, you know, just starting out with Cinema 4D. So I'm going to show you. So as you can see, here's my mouse. And we're going to go up to this curly line. We're going to press it. We're going to go text right here. So now we've selected that. Let's put up another box down here. We can enter our text here, and we're going to call it Stealth Systems UK. Right. Now we can also change the font, the size, the height. But let's just keep this simple. Let's just change the font. So obviously you want to press font, and you can select a various fonts. So let's go with the Beast Machines, which is, Jesus, that looks quite big. Anyway, we'll go with this. So now that's done, you want to go up here and press this little box, hold it down, and you want to go to Extrude NURBS. Press it. Now you want to make the text a child of the extrude. Now you do this by selecting the text and keeping your finger down on the mouse, and as you can see, look, we can move it around here. See, it has the arrow going to the left. Well, we want to go over to extrude, and the arrow should point down. Then you can release your finger off the mouse. Boom. So that's how you make a child. That's how you make the text a child of the extrude. Right. Now you want to select extrude from here. Then you want to go down here, and it says movement. Now this is where you can actually make your 3D text. As you can see, if we go up here, press this, we can actually move our view around. As you can see, it's slightly 3D, but it could be better. It could be improved. So select extrude. Now the third box under movement, which is here, allows us to have some depth to our text. So say if we typed in 60. That's 70. I'm doing this in the dark, excuse me. 60. You can see what it's done. It's made it a lot thicker. I mean, we could go thicker if we wanted, but I think that looks kind of cool. So go back a little bit. You can go back and forward like this by using the scroll wheel on your mouse. So you want to kind of line everything up. That looks kind of cool. Now, then you can just select off it, and it shows you what it's going to look like rendered. Now, if you want to have color, which this looks fine without color, but if you don't want to have color, you go down here and under materials, press file, new material, and double click, and this brings up this material editor. Now you want to select color. Now color is a nice thing to have, especially in Cinema. I mean, you know, Cinema 4D is great for selecting colors. Things like Photoshop, you need to select from a pre-selected amount of colors, whereas in Cinema 4D you can press choose screen color, excuse me, and now this has allowed me to select any color on my screen. Everything becomes unresponsive apart from this program, and I can select any color. So say I want to select I don't know, my Skype color. So let's find a good blue. There's my Skype color. That's the color of Skype. Press OK, and you have the color of anything on the screen. So that's kind of a nice thing to do. Obviously you can just press color and you can go around and select any color you want. I like to choose the color from my color I've got on my screen. Let's go with that yellow. That looks kind of cool. Right, it's not really yellow, but whatever. So then you want to go to, you can just click off that and that'll be fine, but I want to add some more effects to this color. So I'm going to go over here and press reflection. Now obviously this has a lot of reflection, as you can see from this diagram here. You want to lower that. So under brightness you can lower it, make it have it more reflective. Is that a word? I don't know. So let's have around about 47. Let's go to 55. Right, 55 looks good. Now you can just press the X. Right, as you can see, there's no color. So, select, you can drag, and you can either directly put it onto the text in the preview window, or you can drop it onto the extrude. It doesn't matter. I find that if you have multiple layers of text, then it's easier to go up here and select and drag and drop on the color onto the piece of text you're trying to do. But for this tutorial, it's simple. So we just select the color, drag it, put it onto the actual text in the preview window, and that has changed the color. It's quite good up to a certain point, and then it kind of gets a bit white, but that's fine. To improve the quality more, you want to add a light or a sky. So go up here, select, hold down, select sky. Now the sky is not the right color for some reason. It depends on different Cinema 4D settings you have. I'm using the default settings, so the sky isn't really a very bright light. So you want to go down here again to new material, then drag and drop the color onto sky, and as you can see, it's made it a lot brighter. So now you can kind of see the text. You also want to use this up here to move around a spotlight. Now to add a spotlight, you want to go to the light section again, spotlight. Now you're thinking, well, that's black. Right, that is because the spotlight is actually, if you look, is behind the text, so you want to move it. Now you can select this little white box here, you can just about see it there. Select that and you can pull it back. Then you want to use the gradient to pull it up. Now as you can see, it's only selected a little bit of the text, so you can move it back some more. Go right to the end. Now to make it the scope a bit wider, you can actually select the yellow thing here and you can just drag it out. So that's kind of cool. I do like to have it quite light in the middle and then it kind of fades out. That's kind of cool. So here is our Cinema 4D tutorial on how to make 3D text in Cinema 4D. Now, yes, other tutorials might do it a lot quicker, but other tutorials I thought they kind of rushed it a little bit. I didn't really understand like what was going on. That is perfect. I like that. I didn't really understand what was going on. They, unless you're like a pro, I found it quite difficult to follow along. Basically, all you need to do is go up here to make some text, add your text, change the font. Then you want to go up to here, press extrude NURBS, and then it's in 3D. And then obviously you can make it a lot thicker if you want, or so forth. Right, now the next thing is going to be quite heavy on your CPU or your computer. It's rendering. Now there's a few ways to render in Cinema 4D. Both are, do the same thing, just in different ways. One will close the program after you've rendered, the other one won't. Or, there's various settings you can select or deselect if you choose. So, first of all, before you do render, it's going to be heavy on your computer. GPU, RAM, and CPU is probably going to be maxed out. Now, if you want to improve your rendering times in Cinema 4D, they shouldn't be that high unless you're, maybe a laptop, it might be a lot slower. But desktops, they're usually dual core, so they can handle simple editing like rendering quite simply. If you do want to improve your rendering times in Cinema 4D, Sony Vegas, things of that nature, you can either buy a new CPU which is compatible with your motherboard socket. The thing with CPUs is it's not all about the frequency of the cores, it's about the architecture as well and how they're made. I won't go into this too much. I don't want to drag this video for extended periods of time. I'm just saying your computer may struggle with this next process. If it freezes, then I would not use Cinema 4D, and maybe you should use something like Photoshop, which doesn't render, it just saves. So here we go. Also, overclocking could affect your CPU's performance. It might increase it. So if you're into overclocking, then maybe you should overclock your CPU if you're finding this quite slow. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you with my CPU knowledge yet. Alright, so you want to go up to here, render settings, press that. Now, general is normally fine. If your computer is really bad, then you might want to deselect full render and maybe select one of the other ones. Anyway, we're going to go to output. Width. You want that to be 1280 because that is that's 1290k. 1280 is a decent size for, and it'll also make it better quality while zoomed in, which is always something. The height you want 720. That is the YouTube video, YouTube background kind of default setting. That is a good setting to have. So it's 1280 by 720. That is great. You can leave everything else as it is. Then you want to go to save, and you can obviously choose where you want to save it by pressing file. You can select anything you want to do there. Obviously, we're going to leave that blank because I don't want to save this. I've already got various 3D images on my PC. After you've done that and you've selected the place where you want to save it, you want to go to format. Then you want to select QuickTime PNG. This makes it transparent. That's something you want. Then go to options, which is next to it. Then you want millions of colors plus. Then press OK. Next, you want to select alpha channel. And then that's it. You're done. Then all these settings are saved. You can press the X. Now, the two render settings are render in active view, or there's render in picture viewer. Both are the same thing. One's more, one does it in the software, the other one doesn't. So I'm just select the left one because it's easier. That's rendered. That's rendered. Both ways. Excuse me. Both ways doesn't matter. I've just done both of them right there and it's done. So my PC did that quite quick because it's a 6-core processor. Yours may take a lot longer if it's a lower end CPU. But also if you are thinking about getting into editing, is what you really need to focus on, especially for editing Cinema 4D, Sony Vegas, things of that nature. You want to make sure your CPU is powerful. I recommend a quad core. The price performance right now, the sweet spot in the market is the Intel i5 2500K. That is the sweet spot. Great performance on a quad core processor. The next up to 2600K, which is also a 4-core processor, but it has 8 threads, so that helps in video editing. But if you want to go for a cheap, amazing CPU, then the 2500K is for you, and that will help out in editing. Also, RAM is quite a useful thing to have while editing. I have 8 gig right now. Anything 6 gig or more is considered fine for editing, so you're fine with 6 gig if you have that. Also, CUDA cores. Now, I don't want to bore you with all this stuff. If you only came over here for the tutorial, then that's fine. If you're looking to build a editing computer, then you might want to listen to this next part. With Stealth Systems UK, I try to give you as much information as possible in the simplest form. The tutorial's over. We have rendered that. This is fine. But if you do want to get into editing, maybe your computer's a bit slow, then listening to this may help you. CUDA cores, they are NVIDIA's kind of rendering helper, if you will. They help out the CPU by rendering images. It takes some load off the CPU for rendering, and it puts it onto its GPU core, and obviously it speeds up times. That's pretty much what CUDA cores are. ATI or AMD, they have a different version of CUDA cores, and they're not as good, in my honest opinion. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for coming along. I know it's been difficult, but other tutorials I found, they didn't really explain how to do it all. They did it really quickly, and I was like, can't keep up. So I thought I'd make this. It's nice, it's slow, it does the job. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully, everyone stays tuned for Stealth Systems UK. We'll have a variety of things on here, reviews of hardware, PC builds, and much more. So please, if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. Anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure. Peace.